Across the Fence, upcoming events that say thank you to our veterans. From the American Legion to the Boy Scouts, we'll see how Vermonters are honoring the men and the women who served our country. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. Vermont's Department of Veterans Affairs reports that there are more than 50,000 veterans living in Vermont. Throughout this fall, there are events to honor and thank each of those veterans. Today, we're going to highlight two of the biggest events, starting with a special tribute to Iraq and Afghanistan veterans on October 12th in St. Albans. To learn more, I'm joined by two members of the American Legion Green Mountain Post 1 in St. Albans. Marty Lemna is a Navy veteran and the first female veteran to serve as Post 1 commander. And Ray LaRocque is an Air Force veteran and director of the Legion Riders Post 1. Welcome to both of you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Before we start talking about the October 12th event, Marty, maybe you could tell us a little bit about the American Legion overall and Post 1 in St. Albans.
Well, I've been a member of the American Legion for 30 years now and a very proud Legionnaire. And the American Legion has approximately 2.4 million members. We have approximately 14,000 American Legion posts throughout the nation. And we serve our communities all the time. And in fact, our problem is we don't advertise ourselves enough or pat ourselves on the back, kind of like a secret almost sometimes. Mm-hmm. But we have the oratorical contest for our young people where they speak about the Constitution of the United States. We have the Law Cadet program. We've got scholarships for them. We get into the community and we serve like the homeless shelters, our veterans' homes, and we're very involved with the community. I even served on the council for a few years just to be involved and be a part of the community. And that's what the American Legion does. That's what all of our veterans do. Mm-hmm. We're a group of veterans who are proud of our service and want to give back to the community. But most important, we take care of our veterans first. Mm-hmm. We take care of the widows and the children. And in fact, the American Legion, to be honest with you, was first when it came to the GI Bill and getting it formed. It was very important because we had World War II vets coming home and no monies, mm-hmm. no way to get an education, and they were out in the streets selling pencils.
Wow.
And that's when people got together and said, hey, we got to take care of these people that are returning that have given their best to our country, and we got to treat them better. And that's when it started. So we got the GI Bill to help them with their education. Mm-hmm. Ray, do you want to add something?
Well, the other thing too was that the American Legion that actually was the mover and shakers and got the Veterans Affairs Committee developed in Washington. Mm-hmm. And they are the veterans' largest and most vocal advocate for veterans and their families. So their work continues every day, and it becomes more important as time goes on to our veterans.
And so what are the requirements to becoming a member of the American Legion?
You have to have served in a wartime period, and they're listed accordingly. Right now, Iraqi and Afghanistan, those dates are wide open. They are still open, so anyone serving can be a part of that. We have what we call our American Legion family, and that's the Legionnaires, us veterans like Ray and myself. Mm-hmm. And then we have our Ladies Auxiliary, whose spouses or father or brother served in the military and are veterans. They can join under them. Then we have our Junior Auxiliary. We have our Sons of the American Legion, whose mothers, fathers served, grandfathers served in our veterans can join. We have our American Legion Riders who have been a great service to our Legion in their program and fundraising, and we're very proud of them.
Let's talk a little bit about what the riders do.
Well, we have a lot of fun riding our motorcycles. But the American Legion riders are a lot more than just riding their motorcycles. We take on, not only do we carry out the mission of the American Legion, but we also take on additional charities. And we raise funds, and we enjoy doing that for special veterans groups, homes, the Vermont Veterans Home in Bennington, mm-hmm. the Veterans Place in Northfield, and wounded veterans. We deal a lot with that too. But it's nice to come together. There's 106,000 American Legion riders across the country and 1,000 of different posts. Not every post has a Legion riders component to it, but the ones that do, they have a lot of fun. And, you know, we get together weekly, monthly, and we just enjoy doing things for charity and riding our motorcycles. Of course, we don't do that in the winter, but it's fun nonetheless.
Let's talk a little bit about the event that's coming up October 12th in St. Albans.
October 12th is going to mark the first time in the North Country anyway that the communities are coming forward to pay tribute and say, really, as a community, say, welcome home. It's time we said thank you to the Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. And that day is being dedicated to that purpose. We have so many veterans that have gone and served in both Iraq and Afghanistan, sometimes multiple deployments to one or the other. So we're bringing the communities together, and we're working with the Adjutant General's office. They've been very helpful with us, and the National Guard of Vermont to bring our soldiers there that day, bring our public and our families and our friends there that day, and say thank you and welcome home. And we invite veterans who, and it isn't just veterans that have served, I'll clear that up too. It's not just the veterans that have actually served in Iraq and Afghanistan, but any military personnel, man or woman, that has been on active duty during those time periods are welcome to come.
And there's going to be a barbecue.
There'll be a big barbecue. There'll be it's open, it's free to everybody. There'll be a dedication at that time. There'll be some guest speakers. There'll be some displays for everybody to enjoy. It's a family event. We're probably even going to have face painting for the kids. And we'll have ice cream. So it's
fantastic.
It's traditional American barbecue for them.
What can the public do to help support this particular event?
Well, primarily we've been trying to solicit funds to pay for it, which is always an ongoing battle. And given the fact that we have approached this as a free for everybody, nobody's required to pay anything. That people who can become sponsors or would like to donate can contact our American Legion posts, and we can certainly accept anything they want to donate to us.
Terrific. Well, let's just remind folks that the Legion Post 1 in St. Albans is hosting an open house for Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. It is Sunday, October 12th from 2 to 5 at the Legion Hall in St. Albans. For more information, you can call the number on your screen. It's 802-782-1431. That's 802-782-1431. You can also find information online by visiting legionriderspost1.org. Again, the website is legionriderspost1.org. Now, in November, Vermont will mark the 17th annual Scout Salute to Veterans Parade. And as this 1972 illustration by Norman Rockwell shows, the Boy Scouts can't wait. Vermont is the only state in the nation to have such a parade honoring its veterans. The event was started by a Boy Scout leader and high school history teacher from Richmond. Each year, the parade is rotated from one Vermont community to another. This year's Scout Salute Veterans Parade will be in Bristol, November 1st. And joining me now are Ron LaRose of Bristol, American Legion Post 19, and Dave McAllister of the Green Mountain Council, the Boy Scouts of America. Thank you so much for being with us. Ron, why don't you give us a little bit more background on the annual parade and why it started?
There was a teacher, scout leader in the Richmond area that thought that scouts should be doing something for their veterans. And so he came up with this dream and put it together, and the first parade was in Richmond. This is the 16th year, and it's being hosted by the town of Bristol this year. It's bounced around to various communities throughout the state. And
how did Bristol get selected to host this parade?
That's unique. I was participating in last year's parade in Morrisville. I was eating a hot dog at the barbecue. Somebody tapped me on the shoulder and says, "We understand you're the person to make this happen in Bristol." And then I brought it back to my Legion Executive Board, then to the Select Board of the town, and here we are today.
So Dave, talk a little bit about the Boy Scouts' involvement with the parade and why the State Council feels that it's important.
Well, I think one thing that's really important to point out is that we are the only council in the country that hosts such an event, which is pretty significant when you think that nationwide we have about 300 Boy Scout councils. And we're really proud of that here in Vermont. That's something that we hang our hat on and that we enjoy doing very much so. But I think there's always been a strong connection between veterans and service to youth, and the Boy Scouts going back 100+ years. we've always had a very strong connection with the veterans organizations. There's a lot of American Legion posts and VFW charters that sponsor Boy Scout packs and troops and so on and so forth. So it's definitely our pleasure as an organization to do this event annually.
And so from the Boy Scouts perspective, what does it take to put this parade on?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, the first thing is getting a good chairman, like Ron. And I was the chairman last year in Morrisville. But if you get a good committee of folks from your community, it's really, really a smooth endeavor. The biggest thing that a lot of times is, participation. We want spectators there. We want scouts and units and veteran organizations to show up and really support the event, because it's a spectacular event.
And so, Ron, from where you sit, what was involved in putting this together?
I put together some teams, some marketing team, parade team, ceremony team, logistics team, and the one who's been working the hardest, the longest, is the marketing, by putting the word out around the entire state, and that's what brought us here today. And now we're kicking into gear. We're lining up parade elements where the logistics is coming together. So now we're at a point where we think we've got a handle on making this successful.
And so who participates in this parade?
Well, as Dave was saying, we've been in contact with all veterans organizations in the state. We put a little twist on this by adding first responders. One of my sons is a local fire chief, so he's reached out and got fire department presence. Addison County Firefighters Association. We've got state police, honor guard. We've got Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts. The numbers would be roughly 800 to 1,000. We got the 40th Army Band. We got a high school band. We got a fife and drum corps band. We've got a couple of radio vans. What's a parade without a lot of music? So we've got quite a lineup.
And so what role do you play in the parade?
In the parade? Just orchestrating that it all comes together. I've got good people that are in charge of each of those teams. The day of the event, I will be the MC on the bandstand on our village green where it ends.
And so, Dave, what would you say the status of scouting programs in Vermont today is?
Well, I think, scouting is most successful at the ground level. It's most successful when communities are behind the youth and the leaders in developing that program. I would say that there's many communities across Vermont that have a very strong scouting program. I think in general, we do good stuff for kids with building leadership and teaching them self-reliance and all of those things that are sort of presented to them in a fun, outdoor, adventure-based program that's very attractive.
Has scouting changed over the years, since the years when maybe your father or your brother, older brother, was in scouting?
I think scouting's changed a lot in some of the ways we communicate with each other. Certainly, I don't think our grandfathers would have ever envisioned, a video game merit badge or things like that. But the values are consistent, and they have been since the founding in 1910. And I think that that's very, very important for young people and families today is to remember and reflect on those values.
What's the biggest challenge to getting more families involved in scouting?
Well, I think our theory is there's a couple of things at play. Youth sports, I think, is very, very competitive. I think that it takes a lot of time from kids and families this day and age. And it takes a lot of commitment. And I think that when parents are choosing what to support their kid in, I think that most people have that experience being in a youth program, so they enjoy that. I think the other thing that's a little trying for us right now is the fact that we're on the 40-year end of a membership decline, and so we're looking at alumni who are normally the people that drive this program, like myself and Ron, and there's more and more parents now of this generation who were not involved as a youth, and so the values of the program, the experiences, aren't there for them to really want to push it towards their kids.
All right, well, for more information on the Scouts Honoring Veterans Parade in Bristol, November 1st, you can check out the website on your screen. It's bristolamericanlegion.com. That's bristolamericanlegion.com. Well, I want to thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.